Here she comes out of the lead. It's Jeannie Rice.
Away, Jeannie. Hey, Autumn Athletes, Larry Sorensen here. And today I am going to connect with Jeannie Rice, find out what makes her an Autumn Athlete that's not done yet. Before we get started, please remember, if you enjoy our content, support the channel, like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications. All right, let's begin. Jeannie, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you start us off with a brief introduction of yourself?
Thanks for having me, Larry, this morning. My name is Jeannie Rice. I am 76 years old, and I've been running 41 years straight since I was 35. And I have two sons and I have two granddaughters. And I can say I'm a marathon runner. I ran 132 marathons so far, but I just started to do some track and field. And I live in Cleveland, Ohio during the summer, and then I go to Naples, Florida during the winter.
Well, great to meet you. Now, you mentioned running for many, many years. I'd like to know if you've done anything else in your athletic history. So have you participated in any other sports in your athletic history, or has it always just been running? And then if so, just kind of fill us in a little bit on that history from when you were young up until your master's careers.
Well, when I was young, like I said, I'm 76 years old. So when I was young, we did not have, girls sports that much. And I was born in Seoul, Korea, 1948, and I was always active. I was in dance class and, rode some little bit of a bike, but I never was in, sports event. But when I came over this country, I was 19 years old. So I've been here 55 years plus. I just started to run when I was age 35, and just to lose few pounds. I'm short, 5'2", and so if I gain 8 pounds, that's pretty heavy for me. So I started to jog around the block, and then a friend of mine talked me into local 5-mile marathon. So I said, well, I think I can do 5 mile. So I did it, and she was a runner at the time, a good runner, and she came in third in our age group, 35 to 40, and I was right behind her, which I was very beginners, just jogging, So that's when I thought, well, if I train, maybe I can run better. So I've been training since then, and 1 year later, I ran a marathon, Cleveland Marathon. That was my very first marathon. So I got hooked. But I do other things right now. I do golf, but that's not really intensive exercise. But then I do swim occasionally when I'm in Florida, more so than up here. And I used to do scuba dive, a little bit of a biking. But right now, running is, I do 50 miles a week. So running is my number one sport.
Was there any specific inspiration along the way when you were running, or did you just kind of do it?
Well, when I first ran 1986 first marathon, I started in 1985, started jogging in local races. 85, I decided to do Cleveland Marathon. I came in my first, I believe my age group, I placed it, and I was 345. So I thought, well, this is first marathon, and I thought if I train a little bit harder, maybe I can do better. So 6 months later, I did Columbus Marathon. I came in 316. So at that time, 320 was Boston qualified time. So I did go to Boston very following year. And then, I've been running marathon like I said, 132 marathon I have ran. And I still have a 5 on my plate right now. Right now, 5 in my schedule. So let's see how long I can continue. And then I love it. I love running. Running is part of my life. And, it's a physical and mental. Mentally, it's a good for me, and social, of course. That's a big part of it, as you know.
So that's a lot of years of running and a lot of mileage. Have you had any kind of setbacks along the way?
I ran about 100,000 miles if I add it up all together. And I went around the world 4 times already. My one big injury was during the run. I was running 13-mile training run with my friend, And during the construction area, I tripped over and fell. So I banged my knee pretty bad. So I did have a fine line stress fracture 3 years ago. So I got better because it's not from running injury, but it is actually because I fell during the run. And since then, my left knee is not the same. But since then, I don't know how many marathon I ran. So it's not a big problem, but my left knee seems a little bit weak. Mm-hmm. So that's the only injury I had.
Tell us a little bit about some of your personal best achievements. And of course, for my audience, I will post all those in the description below so they can take a look at them later.
Every race I run, I placed. And most of the time is first place. But there is second and third place I have had. But I don't know. I don't think I run any different than other people. And I just, luckily, I never got injuries. So I never had setback. And some of my friends, we train together, and all of a sudden they get hurt, hamstring or Achilles, so they have to back off for a few weeks. I never had that. So I continue to train. And I run pretty much every day. I would say at least 6 days a week. And sometimes I run 10, 12 days straight. And I never had a coach. I just do my own. I'm self-coach, and I listen to my body. And I run 50 miles a week, weekly. And marathon-wise, I just plan and do it. I don't think I ever had really fast time. My best time for 5K was 18:45, which other girls would be doing 17, and when they were young. My 10K best time was 37:48. My half marathon is 1:26, and my best marathon was 3:12, which is very slow compared to my shorter distance time. I should have run 3-hour marathon, but I never hit that 3-hour barrier. But now, 10 years ago, I ran 3:30, and I still running 3:30 at age 76. I would say 3:30 plus. Last year, Chicago, I did 3:34. There was a world record. And this year I did 3:33. So in London. By my 70 years and up, world record was in Chicago 5-6 years ago. I ran 3:27, and a year later, Berlin, I did 3:24. So I am still holding a 70 plus world record, and then 75 plus world record I'm holding, but I'm sure somebody's going to break it pretty soon.
Okay, so you did mention the world records, and you have a bunch of world records. So why don't you, if you can, again, I'll post them down below, but give us a list of those world records and what the events are.
Sure. Friend of mine, Rick Lee and Jean Dyke, became a very good friend. They talked me into do USATF outdoor track and field last fall. So I'm not a track runner, but well, come on, just try it. So I ended up doing 5 events: 800 meter, 1500 meter, 5K, 10K, I don't know, maybe 3K. I forget. I did 5 events, and I came home with 5 gold medals, but 3 world record. This surprised me. 1500 meter, 5K, 10K on the track. Those were world record. So, and then since then, and of course I have a half marathon world record, 1:37 when I was 70, and then marathon record, 3:24. So this year, now I move up to another age group, but I'm still chasing my old 70 years old record. I don't think I can do 3:24, but I think I can do 3:33 or better, which I do have a 3:33 world record in London. And I am going to Sweden this August for the World Championship, World Master, Championship. So I am doing a 6 event. So right now my goal is we always have a goal, I guess. It doesn't matter what goal you have. People have just want to do the first marathon or, whatever. But my goal is break the world record, 800-meter and cross country. Those two, I don't have a world record. And all other distance, I have a pretty much world record. But even though somebody will break it, and I'm going to try to do my own record, but 800-meter cross country, I don't have it yet. So that's I'm going for in August.
Okay, so you're having great success. You've had great success for a long time, and you've mentioned a little bit about some of the training you do, but I'm interested in a little bit more specifics. So what is your current training regimen? And do you include not just running, but do you include other cross-training items like weightlifting or things like that? Just kind of fill us in on how we can be as successul as you are.
I used to when I was like 40s, and I did a lot more heavier weight training, not just upper body. It's more for strength. I was never want to be a bodybuilder. So I used to do consistent 3 days a week along running. And then I got away there for a while. But now I got older. I know the strength training is very important. So I've been back to 3 days a week, very light training. I don't do heavy weight. I do very light upper body training. So I do that, try to do 3 days a week. But it's funny, Larry, if I miss 1 day or 2 day running, I mean, that's a lot to me. But if I miss training at the gym, if I miss gym, I don't feel as bad. That means running is more important to me, I guess. But the weight training is more like my backup. I just want you to stay strong. And as we get older, I see a lot of, especially male, they decline faster than female, I think. I don't know, that's what I see. Because in London, example, Berlin, I did 5 years ago, I was 70 years old, I did 324. I beat all men, my division. And so, 5 years later, now I'm 75 in London. And of course, I beat my, I got the world record time. And then I didn't look at it. My friends look at the men division and my age group. And I beat their first place male division. I beat by 11 minutes. So what's up with you guys? No, I think what it is, I think it's not that you are not training or the men are. Maybe this men decline a little faster than women. I don't mean just me, overall, female and male. Yeah. But as far as the training, it has not been changed. I need to change a little bit because I'm not 40, 50 years old anymore. But I've been running 50 miles a week all these years. So I know I really look up Amby Burford, and he has advised me a little bit, cut down your mileage and stay strong. And I'm trying to do that, but it's hard for me to cut down my mileage because I love go out running. When I go out running, I don't do 5, 6 miles. At least I do 7, 8 miles. And every week I like to do long run. So when I do a marathon, I go up to 65, 70 miles. I'm still doing that. So I am going to cut down the mileage and then more maybe track work, shorter distance. That's my next plan.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you do any kind of speed workouts, especially since you're getting involved in track and field and running 800 meters and miles and so forth?
Well, like I said, when I was much younger, I did every week track workout. But then I see older runners have a, injury. So I stopped going track probably 10, 15 years, maybe 15 years ago. But now I start going back again. But I warm up pretty good. And then the reason I'm going back to track workout, because I need to like 100 meter, 200 meter, if I'm going to do 800 meter race. But I never did that in the past. So I didn't need to do that. But now I just went track the other day, did a few 200 meter, just pick up. But I always have been doing that on the road, fartlek, and then I would warm up and then run as fast as I can for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. I did on the road, but I haven't gone to track, but I am back on the track now. Last year I ran 3:33, Boston. Now, 3:33 is the Boston record, course record, man and woman. I beat men by 20 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that. So it got big because my time is not that fast. 3:33 is not nothing to brag about, but I did okay for me. And then it happened to be a course record. So I guess they were talking about me. So they were interested to analyze me. So they knew I was coming. They don't have a budget to bring me in to pay for the hotel and all that. This is a university, Lautenberg University, UK. It's an athlete university. So they found out I was coming to London. So they contacted me if I would be interested for them to study me. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm in London already. So I only had to spend the athlete university one night after the London. Only thing is the London Marathon was Sunday. They did that Friday. So I wasn't quite, I mean, I recovered fast. That's something we didn't talk about that. People need recovery time. I don't. I recover pretty quick. I mean, next day I can go out I can run another marathon, but a lot of my friends can hardly walk or whatever. So I don't get that. So, but anyway, but Friday, they put me in the treadmill and maxed up and blood test and analyze, ultrasound my muscle. I'm not any different than anybody, right? But they were interested. So all my friends said, what did I say? Are you a robot woman or? No, but it just came out to be my VO2 max is higher than average, much higher than my age average. And they said it's like a 20 years old, 25 years old, and all that. I got a whole 10-page. But anyway, that was interested about testing and analyze about me.
So we have an idea now of how you train to be as fit as you are. What about your approach to diet and nutrition? And then also, how do you manage your rest?
As far as my diet, really hasn't changed much because I used to never ate a red meat. This was just when I was younger. And I grew up with the fish. So I always like fish. I always like vegetable. So in Korea, we don't have a fried food normally. So I never was into that. So I got used to it. So I'm always away from fried food or heavy, I would say fat food. So my diet hasn't been changed much. One thing I did give up on, since I was a little bit more competitive, I gave up ice cream. I used to eat ice cream every night when I, raised my children. My two boys, it was a war. Every time, I bring him in, they have a bath, and then we'll sit around, read the book, and we always had a scoop of ice cream. It wasn't like once a week or twice a week. We used to do that every night. That's how much I love ice cream. I gave up probably about 10 years ago. I don't eat it anymore. Once I away from it, I don't even miss it. So I never really like sweet anyway. So I'm not eating any sweet. Maybe when I go to, birthday or some, I would have a just tiny little piece of cake. But I love fruit. So I always buy fruit. So that'll be my dessert, either watermelon or strawberry or, things like that. So my diet is pretty much fat-free diet. I mean, it's not because I'm running. That's my just habit, I would say. But I've been eating more protein. And as I got, aged a little bit, I hate to say a little bit. So I aged a little. So I've been try to eat more protein. Okay. And then I drink gallon of water. That's just a habit. I grab a water every time I walk out or drive, and just lots of water I drink. And also I do have a glass of wine when I have a dinner, and which I hate to give that up, but I don't drink that much, but I just love having a glass of wine with a nice meal. So, and then of course we party all the time, and then we have a drink.
Okay. So how about your rest? How do you manage rest?
Okay, rest is I go to bed early. I am up like 5 o'clock. And I think I got used to that because I would, Florida, my friends, I belong to golf course running club in Naples. It's a huge group. They run 6 o'clock every morning, either during the summer or during the winter because it gets hot. So I'm used to running with them. And so I'm up by 5. So I go to therefore I go to bed early. I want to make sure I get good 7 hours sleep. Once in a while I get 8 hours sleep. That'll be the bonus. I never really need more than that.
You're training hard, you're eating well, you're getting your rest. What motivates you at 76 years old to keep driving hard and attending these competitions?
I'm competitive, I guess. I guess I have that in me. Once I got 70, that's when I got more competitive. Because prior to that, I have a national record, but I never really compete outside of, big races. I didn't. So I started doing it. So I had her name and her time on my refrigerator. So every morning I see her name and the time. So that motivated me to train to get there. So when I went first to Chicago Marathon, I beat her. But she had that record for 5 years. Because prior to that, someone else, I couldn't remember. She was much younger anyway. So when Helga had it, 5 years record, I broke it by 7 minutes. I didn't know I could do that. That's when runners were recognized, and that's when they start, making article, sending an article. So when I beat that by 7 minutes, year later, Berlin, I beat my own record by 3 minutes. So I got, from last record she had, I have new record. I got it by 10 minutes. But I'm sure there's 2 ladies from UK. They are chasing my record, which is 3:24, 70 years old. And there's a lady called Yuko. We became friends. I got to meet her. And she's chasing that. She's 73 now. So she's got this year and next year. So, we'll see. And then she will be coming up to 75. So I have a 75 record now. I beat my own record by a minute. And I'm trying to make that a little bit harder for next people coming up. So I have to break my own record. So I'm going to Berlin again this year in September. So I'm working on it.
At this point in time, just kind of looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently or changed if you could?
One regret, I should have chased for 3-hour marathon because I had 1:26 half marathon. And I tried for 3-hour marathon in Columbus one year, and I was right on the target, maybe a minute or 2 faster than 3 hours. And around 23, 24, I ran out of gas completely. I mean, I don't mean just, jogging. I completely I stopped and I couldn't quit. So I started walking and jogging and walking and jogging. And I lost 12 minutes. So I ran 3:12. So I gave up on that because I had that memory still today, clearly. So I gave up forget the 3 hour. There was such a bad taste. So I wish I should have tried again, just run a 3-hour marathon. I had it then, So that I do regret. I could have done differently, but I had to keep the 3:12 with my, PR for my marathon. But since then, since I gave up the 3 hour, I did so many between 3:10 and 3:20 because I was more relaxed. 3:18, 3:17, 3:16, 3:12, 3:13. I had quite a few 3:10s, but since then, so that's one thing I should have done differently. But as far as the training, I don't know if I would have had a coach maybe early on. Maybe I could have run faster, shorter distance. But marathon is, you know what I know. It's a lot to do with the mental, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of people. My friends, they run my pace, but they can't seem to hold that for the distance. I think your body start getting tired and you run out of gas, and I think they give up. Maybe I don't know because each individual, but I do have that drive, and so some of friends I tell them 3Ds. Don't forget, you are already dedicated. You're already disciplined, right? If you get up there early every day or running or evening, whatever, after work, they're tired, but they're out there running. That means they're disciplined. So you're dedicated, disciplined, and you got to have a determination. I have that too. I think I have 3Ds. So that's what I tell people. Don't forget 3Ds. You got to have that. I don't care what goal is. I don't have any secret. I think, it's very individual.
Yeah.
Just don't give up, and then stay, injury free is number one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people get different injury, different ways, and maybe they're overdoing it. But how do you know? Sometimes you don't know. But if your body says really tired, that's why I don't have a coach. And I have a friends follow what the coach said. Coach really big help, but they don't know exactly how you feel that day. And if I don't feel like doing 20-mile, let's say I'm supposed to run tomorrow, if I wake up with something not good and I don't feel good, and I'm not going to go struggle. So I'll wait for next day. So, just listen to your body, but don't slack off too much.
Okay, so we're going to take a second here and get to know some fun stuff about you, some rapid fire questions. So if you have a minute to just relax, would it be a book, a movie, or a podcast?
Well, I do listen to podcasts sometime when I'm in driving, but at home, I do watch TV, not a lot, and I do talk to my friends, non-runners. I have a lot of friends, not a runner, and I talk to them, I call them, and that's kind of relaxing to me. Besides running, but runners, we talk about what time we're running, what pace we're doing. So I do talk to non-runners, and I do have a lot of fun with the runners too. So after we run, we go coffee, or sometimes, I have whole gang over my place for once a month. I try to do that after Saturday long run, and we come over here and have a pancake breakfast and things like that. So I do have a lot of social time too, which is a lot of fun. And I do golf. I do golf occasionally, and that's relaxing to me. And go out, and I'm not that competitive in golf. Competitive myself. I want to do better, score, but I'm not competing. So golfing is very relaxing to me. Outside for a few hours, and that's my a fun time too.
Skydive, cliff dive, or deep sea dive?
I hate to say, I used to be a scuba diver. Yes, I gave up maybe 10 years ago. I sold all my equipment because prior to that, I was an advanced diver. And I've dived Great Barrier Reef in Australia and the Bahama. But I gave up that one. But skydive was, you asked me, that's skydive was one of my bucket list, right? But I didn't get a chance to do that. So as I got older, I got a little bit, scared. So I kind of replaced that. When I was in Cape Town, South Africa, I ran a marathon a year ago, almost 2 years already. I ran a Cape Town marathon in South Africa. And then I did a gliding, the paragliding, what you call. We went to Tabletop Mountain. It was absolutely beautiful. It was a little scary beginning, but I said, I'm going to do this. And we fly around the Cape Town city. I would do that again any day. I really enjoy that gliding.
Yeah.
So I've done, parasailing. That's not much of a skydive, of course, but gliding is almost as good.
What would be your favorite footwear? Heels, flats, or sneakers?
Oh, I was in real estate 30 years. So I used to get dressed up all the time. And nowadays they don't as much. I used to wear a suit and high heel shoes all the time. Besides, I'm short and a 5'2". So I always wear high heel all these years. But now I only wear high heel when I go to a wedding for very special occasion. So, I guess running shoes my favorite.
Okay, so what was your favorite marathon and why?
I ran 132. So my favorite country would have been New Zealand. I don't know if you remember or not. Year 2000, it's a millennium year. New Zealand had a marathon January 1st. That's the only time they had. Usually their marathon is, I believe, either end of January or beginning of February. Because millennium, they wanted to have a first marathon. So they had it January 1st. And I went there. I ran a marathon. That was very memorable because while people were up here in our country having a party, New Year's Eve party, and we were running. Yeah. That was a very memorable marathon. And another, if I can tell you which one is the toughest one, Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak, because the altitude, we start out 6,000 high, Colorado Spring base. And then we go up to 14,010. We go all the way to the top. And then a lot of people did half and then got a ride back. But I did the whole thing. By the time you go 12,000 high, you can hardly breathe. And that was the toughest thing I ever done out of 132. And other than that, so many memorable, good race. My 100th marathon, I was going to quit. I mean, quit marathon. I don't mean quit running. I told my family, my friends, I'm doing 100th marathon in Boston. And I'm going to stop marathon and do half and whatever. So that was in Boston. And then I won my division. And that was very memorable as well. But I told my friends, I lie. I had too many marathon I have to do. I couldn't quit. So that was that. And so many memorable, of course, Chicago and Berlin and London is, to me, it was very special because I, set the world record, those 3 places. Yeah. And so, that's all. I have so many.
All right. So you do a lot of mileage. Do you listen to music when you're out running? And if you do, what's your go-to?
I do not listen to music at all. And my mind is always busy, constantly, because I enjoy the scenery. I do. I look around and I enjoy it, and my mind always. Sometimes I think about my family who passed away, and then I think about what I'm gonna have to buy for shopping list, and then of course many times I think about where should I go next to running and traveling. I love traveling. I mean, I went all around the country pretty much, around the, world pretty much. So I think about all those. So my mind is always busy. People ask me, don't you get bored when you go so long distance? I said, no, mile goes fast. You think about these things and you make a list. Sometimes I run inside. Before I forget, I make whatever I was thinking, I write it down. Yeah. So no, I never listen to music at all.
So would it be a farmhouse with a lot of property, a lake house, or a penthouse?
Yeah. No farmhouse. I'm a city girl. I was born in city, Seoul. And when I first came this country, I came to my sister's house. I mean, it's not even farm, but it's away from city. And I'm thinking, where am I going? Where are they taking me? Because we used to get on the bus and, when I was young and go meet friends. And here you couldn't do that. So no, probably I would like penthouse. Yeah, I would
Okay.
like that. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. How about convertible, coupe, or sedan?
Well, definitely convertible, which I have convertible. Yes.
Okay. Last one, easy one. What's your favorite color?
Oh, that's not easy for me, the favorite color. I mean, people said I look good with the blue, but I like pink. I used to like pink all the time. But as far as clothing wise, I wear black and white a lot. So what is a favorite color? I don't know. It used to be pink, of course, when I was a little girl, young girl, pink or purple.
All right. Well, Jeannie, thanks so much for joining us today to let us know what makes you an autumn athlete that's not done yet. We really appreciate it. I'd like to give you the floor to finish up here and just give our audience some final thoughts.
Everybody has their own goal. And running is, I get obviously our runner's goal. Try to stay healthy and your mind, to me, running is wonderful for physically, and then mentally. It's a big plus for us versus people not running. I'm sure they have their own way to clear their mind, but I think when you go run, and what do? You're physically, you're running, you're physical plus, and then mentally, it's a clear mind. So keep on moving, and keep moving is the number one, and 1 foot at a time. Keep moving and stay healthy.
Well, there you go. Great advice from Jeannie Rice. She is definitely an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, as she says, keep moving, set your own goals, and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Oh, thanks for having me. Bye-bye.